Unlike those who said they weren't going to buy the Switch 2 and then turned around and did, I actually stuck to my guns, and in some cases, I might have actually stuck to them a little too hard. Because I didn't even buy the Switch 1. And there are reasons for this, first of which being the main Nintendo game I play, which is Mario Kart Wii. And when I tried Mario Kart 8, inside drifting compared to Mario Kart Wii was nerfed, and it seemed more floaty and more made for casuals rather than somebody who wanted to try to be more competitive. Because when you play at that higher level, even though I feel like I'm not quite there yet, it's just more fun, it's more challenging, it's more exciting, if you get what I mean. And while there were other games that I wanted to check out, such as the newer Zelda games or the Xenoblade remake and its subsequent games, that just wasn't enough justification for me to go out and purchase a Switch 1. And adding to that was its modability or lack thereof. And yes, while there are hackable Switch units for purchase, the issue with modding the Switch 1 or anything that really has to do with modding is how litigious Nintendo has become. And we've seen plenty of examples of this. For example, the lawsuits brought against Yuzu, the threats against Ryujinx, and I'm not really going to put Team Executor into the same boat as this because in their case, they were trying to profit from what they've made and what they found. And even if it was their intention of just going after piracy, they're definitely going about it the wrong way. As I've talked about this time and time again before, if a company really wants to curb piracy, what they need to do is take the Valve/Steam approach and provide an objectively better experience than what people get with pirating. And Nintendo is definitely not doing that. What they're doing instead is raising prices and preventing people from playing their games the way they want to play them. Is that providing a better experience of what you get with piracy? Personally, I think it's not, and that's why people pirate Nintendo products. And on top of that, you have these moddable and hackable Switch 1s, which only applies to a certain serial number range. So if you have anything later, the only thing you can really do is if you want to like upscale a game, you don't get a choice if your Switch isn't moddable or hackable. You don't really have another option except piracy. You have to pirate the game, pirate the keys because you can't use your own copy of the game, you can't use your own copy of the keys, and then you have to go and load all that into the emulator of both the pirated game and the pirated keys, and only then would you be able to upscale the game and play the game that you bought and paid for the way you want to play it. And even if you had a hackable Switch and you were able to dump everything yourself, you can't even take footage of emulation and put it online because it risks Nintendo coming after you with a DMCA because it's not a Nintendo improved way of playing the game. And for Nintendo Switch consoles, this really kind of puts me in a catch-22 because I'm either going to end up wasting time and money buying Switch consoles that I really won't be able to do anything with except for personal use, or on one hand, I could capture card it and do things with no emulation and just provide a worse viewer experience and a worse experience for myself, or on the other hand, I could just go and use emulators anyway and provide a better viewer experience and a better experience for myself, while at the same time risking the channel, which is not something I really want to do either. And let's not forget what the Switch 2 adds to this as well. Higher prices and threats to brick your hardware. I mean, this is my hardware. Nintendo really shouldn't have any justification for telling me how I can use what I bought and paid for with my money. This is my device, not Nintendo's. I don't understand where Nintendo gets off thinking they can dictate how I use my hardware and how I play games that I bought and paid for. That is not how any of this should work under any circumstance. I mean, I guess that's the era we live in. You will own nothing and be happy. Except in this case, I won't buy it and therefore won't own it. And you know, with Nintendo going and putting themselves through all this, it reminds me of a quote that I heard a 70-year-old man tell somebody before. If you're in a hole and you don't want to be in it, stop digging. Well, on the bright side, there are other games outside the Switch ecosystem that I am interested in playing, such as Stellar Blade, Black Myth Wukong, and Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, which will at least be available on PC. And on a side note, do me a favor and leave a comment with something that you're either personally struggling with or a topic you want me to cover, because finding things that are interesting to talk about has been a challenge lately, especially with things like this going on. And while talking about politics isn't off limits on this channel, I don't want this channel to become a politics channel. And you can help with that. And don't worry, this channel is so small, I will almost certainly see your comment.